The alien warlord mocked by sending his flawed heiress, yet the human engineer saw the only beauty that mattered. Beginning. The orbital station above Sargatha's third moon was no stranger to spectacle. Envoys and warriors from half a dozen star empires drifted through its silver corridors, parading their silks, scales, and ceremonial armor. Yet on that particular day, the grand chamber hummed louder than usual. A peace accord, long in the making, was to be signed between the Terran Federation and the Dravathi Dominion, a warlike reptilian race whose power had bled galaxies dry for centuries. Rumors spread before the event began. The Warlord is sending his daughter. But it wasn't spoken with awe or respect. No, the whispers carried derision. The Dravathi Warlord, Vroth Kuruk, was infamous for his cruelty and cunning. Instead of sending his eldest son or his most radiant child to cement the alliance, he would mock the humans by offering his ugly one, a daughter born different. Humans, after all, prized appearances. What better insult than to send a bride no one would want? Elias Grant wasn't supposed to be in the chamber at all. He was a mechanic, an engineer with grease-stained hands, brought along to keep the Terran delegation's shuttle functional. He leaned against a far wall, his coveralls out of place amidst velvet robes and polished armor, trying to remain invisible. His job was simple: stay out of the way until something broke. Then the chamber doors thundered open. The Dravathi delegation marched in, talons clicking against the crystal floor. At their center walked a slender figure in heavy ceremonial robes. When the hood fell back, the murmurs grew louder. She was different. Her scales, instead of shimmering emerald or bronze like most Dravathi, were pale silver edged with faint rose. One horn curved shorter than the other. And though her eyes glowed with the molten gold intensity of her people, there was a softness in them, an unguarded vulnerability that none of the others bore. This was the ugly heiress, the insult wrapped in silk. Middle. The ceremony began. Words were exchanged, oaths spoken, documents sealed in light and fire. But Elias noticed what others ignored. The princess, or rather, the heiress, as she was reluctantly introduced, kept her gaze downcast, her hands folded tightly together. Her posture wasn't prideful, like her kin. She seemed afraid, alone. When the court recessed, laughter spilled from the Dravathi warriors. Some made no effort to hide their scorn, speaking in their guttural tongue about her deformity, her weakness. Elias had seen 1,000 machines fall apart, and he knew the look of something breaking under strain. The heiress was breaking too. Only her heart, not her hull, bore the cracks. Later, as he adjusted a coolant valve near the hangar, Elias found her alone. She sat on a crate, shoulders curled in. The golden jewelry that marked her status glimmered faintly in the half-light. "You shouldn't be here," Elias said quietly, not wanting to startle her. Her head lifted, and for the first time, he saw her properly. Not as the court had painted her, not as her father had mocked her, but as she truly was. Her features were delicate, almost fragile for a Dravathi. Where her kin radiated harsh power, she carried something else.
Grace. Sorrow.
Strength of a different kind. "Do you also come to laugh at me?" Her voice trembled, thick with her species accent. Elias shook his head. "I don't laugh at people who are hurting." For a heartbeat, her eyes widened, as if no one had ever said such a thing to her. They spoke in hushed tones. She told him her name, Serana Kuruk. She confessed she had been sent here as a joke, a tool to shame the humans. Her father believed she was a blemish on his lineage. And yet, Elias said, you walked into that chamber with more courage than half the warriors who mocked you. Her gaze softened. In that moment, something shifted between them. Over the following days, While diplomats haggled and generals argued, Elias found himself crossing paths with Serana again and again. Sometimes by accident, sometimes not. He showed her the Terran shuttle, letting her watch as he tuned its engines. She marveled at the hum of plasma coils and the complexity of human design. "You build machines as if they were children," she observed one evening. "Machines don't lie," Elias replied with a crooked smile. "They break, they wear down, but they never pretend to be something they're not." Her laughter, soft, uncertain at first, echoed in the hangar, more precious than any treaty. But shadows gathered quickly. Word spread that the heiress was consorting with a low-born human. Dravathi warriors sneered more openly, their insults dripping venom. And worse, whispers reached Elias. Some among the Dominion believed that if Serana disgraced herself further, her father would order her eliminated. The insult of her existence was one thing. The scandal of her finding kindness from a human? Unforgivable. One night, Elias found her weeping in the observation deck, staring at the stars. "They will kill me," she whispered. "Perhaps that is what my father wanted all along. To send me here, to die quietly out of sight." Elias clenched his fists. For the first time in his life, grease-stained hands felt utterly useless. But he knew this much. He couldn't let her fade away. "You're not a mistake, Serana," he said firmly. "You're not some joke."
You.
Her golden eyes shimmered with tears, and in that moment, Elias realized the truth. She wasn't ugly. She wasn't flawed. She was the most breathtaking being he'd ever met, not for her scales or horns, but for the way she saw the world. And he wouldn't let her be destroyed. Climax. The attack came sooner than either expected. A faction of Dravathi warriors, loyal to the Warlord's cruel jest, stormed the human shuttle hangar under the pretense of inspecting the craft. Their blades gleamed, their eyes burning with intent. Serana stood frozen at Elias's side as they advanced. "You shame us with your presence, heiress," their leader spat. "But your end will cleanse our lineage." Elias grabbed the nearest tool he had, a plasma torch. His heart pounded, every instinct screaming at him to run, but he planted himself in front of Serana. "Over my dead body." The warriors laughed. "So be it, human." The fight was brutal. Elias was no soldier, but years of hauling, fixing, and crawling through engines had made him strong. He swung the torch, dodged claws, and fought with raw desperation. He bled, deep gashes across his arms, his chest, but he did not yield. Behind him, Serana screamed his name, her voice cracking with terror. Then, something happened that neither side expected. As Elias fell to one knee, clutching his wound, Serana stepped forward. She spread her arms wide, placing herself between him and the warriors. "Enough," she roared, her voice reverberating with ancient power. "You call me flawed? Weak? Look, then, at the human who fights for me when my own kin would see me slain. Tell me, who here is the disgrace?" The warriors faltered. In her eyes burned not weakness, but the fire of a queen. And for the first time they hesitated. Elias, barely conscious, felt her hands cradle him. "Stay with me," she begged. "Do not leave me, not when you are the only one who has ever seen me." Her words broke something greater than any blade, the fear that had chained her all her life.